Hey everyone, welcome back to Empire Build Academy. I'm Fabian, and today I've got 10 plus tips to improve your play on Evony in 2025. Let's get straight into it. So there are plenty of tips that I've shared in previous videos. They're scattered across many different videos, and I thought I'd grab all of those important bits and put them all together in this video for you today. So let's go straight over to the game now. First thing first, obviously be aware of all the different places you can find things. Obviously, it'll look a little bit different on mobile. I'm sure a lot of these things you now know how to find them. So let's start off with the first one. And it's probably one of the most crucial, and I'm sure many people do it, although it's getting into a routine of doing it, and that's making sure that you are bubbled within your castle, especially when things like server versus server is going on. Making sure you're bubbled and you're not getting attacked where you have to rebuild troops all over again is very important. We are actually server 1429 paired with 1525, so we've been going for over a year. 1429 I think has been longer than that, and it was just in the weekend gone that the bubble discipline is still something players are struggling with, including myself, because I was sort of caught unaware with how the events have played out this week, and it almost feels like we're chasing and a week behind how things are set up. So I didn't actually realise on Friday that server versus server was actually going ahead, so I didn't have my bubble on, and actually for the first time in a very long time needed to be green bubbled. So even players that have been doing this for a long time can still forget. Personally myself, I just didn't realize it was going on, but that was just a reminder to make sure that just double check, just make sure. It's literally when I go into my truce agreement, I've got 1090 24-hour truce agreements. Literally takes me 2 seconds to throw it on, and that is going to protect me from attacks from anyone, whether it's people from your own server or in server versus server. And just getting into that routine, getting into that discipline and doing that, only going to save you resources and troops in the long run. So that is number one. I wanted to say that just because bubble discipline is still something that people struggle with, and I hold my hands up, including me. Second thing I want to talk about is the auto hunt that we can get for the monsters. Now, just going into this quickly and just showing you across here, we've got these super monthly cards, and one of those monthly cards is the rally monthly card, which allows us to auto join in rallies and kill monsters without you actually taking part. So I personally pay for this. It's only $9.99. It lasts the whole month. Definitely think it's very valuable, although I do make sure that I have enough stamina to last the whole month. I'm now in a situation where we're hitting so many monsters a day that actually buying this every single month isn't now needed for me. It might be one of those where I go month on, month off, but again, it's a very useful feature, and it's one I do recommend, especially if you're in a big alliance where the big top monsters are being killed, and that's exactly what I'm in. I'm in an alliance with two people that are over 20 billion. Might even be more now, and they are always killing the big monsters, the big boss monsters, big event monsters, whatever it is, they're killing them. But also as well, I did mention about the fact that I'm running out of stamina, and that's why it's very important to go into your alliance war settings, which is this, and I'm talking about this auto join feature here. Let's go inside there. Let's have a look at what we've got. So you can see we've got the join with one soldier, which absolutely makes sense. You can also send with a preset as well. But one of the things that's very crucial, and I see a lot of people doing, is all these different monsters. You don't really want to be wasting stamina on the low level monsters. So when we go into the boss monsters, this one here, you can see I've got this set up to only hit monsters that are boss monsters that are 15 or above. Again, same when I go into the golem. Let's go into the golem, confirm, and again, you can see I've got it at level 4 and above. Same with the hydra, level 3 and above. But just go in there. I don't even bother with the Fenrir anymore, and I don't bother with Viking easy, Viking normal either, because it's just a waste of stamina, especially when you're running out all the time and wasting this on monsters that just aren't going to bring you the decent resources and the items that the other monsters do. So that is something else, especially if you are going to use that rally monthly card, is making sure that you've got all these different ones set up to not be attacking low level monsters. Okay, so moving on to tip 3. This is the orientation app for finding things. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go across to my mobile phone now, and let's go over there. So you can see I've got this in portrait mode. Now I've actually got an app which I'm going to find. 1 second. So at the top here you can see I've got the orientation control. Now if I'm on Evony, and let's just show you what that looks like on Evony, just 1 second. So you can see this is what the Evony game looks like when we're in normal mobile mode. Now if I go back to that orientation app that I was just showing you and click inside there, you can see we've got these different options here, including portrait, including landscape, and the different ways that we can do this. Now I do know this is available on Android. That's what I'm using. I'm using an Android phone. In reference to iPhone, not 100% sure, although I would imagine there would be something similar on iPhone as well. But if I go to the landscape one here and click on that, you can see now it's going to flick my phone. But more importantly, when I go off this and go on to Evony, and again, let's just make that big screen. So you can see I've now rotated this to landscape. And when I go into the world, this is the crucial part. And you are looking for Arctic barbarians. You're looking for pyramids. This is just, in my opinion, a much easier way to search for them than it is in portrait mode. So I've now swung this round. You can see it takes a second or two for the map to line up with everything. But as soon as I'm scrolling up and down, left and right on this, I'm going to find those barbarians. I'm going to find those pyramids a lot quicker than I would if it was in portrait mode. So that is the phone in landscape. Let's now put this back into normal mode. Let's go back to the game. And again, you can see when we go into the game, that's the way you would normally see it. And you see the difference, in my opinion, it made by going into landscape. So getting the orientation app, switching it to landscape for the Evony game and any other games you play, I think is a decent little feature when we are searching things for like pyramids and Arctic barbarians. Also with this, you may have noticed when I was at the front that I also have something called auto clicker, and this is also a lifesaver for me. And let me show you what I mean. Let's go back into the game. Let's have a look at it in this version. This is the version I'll look at it for now. But when I go into this and we go to the train troops feature, which let's go to stables and let's train some T1. Yeah, so normally this is the process. You would click, finish all, click, finish all. And you sort of get into a process of doing that when you are training T1. I've got 426 million of them there. But the auto clicker is actually a very nice feature, because what I can do with the auto clicker, well, let's click into this now. You can see I've already got this set up as well. So let's show you what it looks like when you are doing it. So let's enable. You can see I've got troop training there that I can use. Let's click onto that, and you can see it comes up with this bar round the side. And basically what it's going to do when I go into train troops is I've told it a series of combinations so that it can train these troops faster. As soon as I hit this play button at the top, it's going to replicate those presses. So now I'm not doing anything. This is the auto clicker training those troops for me. So again, this is a beautiful feature. I can go off, I can go and drink a beer, I can go and make myself some food, whatever it is I want to do. And especially going to sleep is a classic. I can leave this on overnight and wake up the following morning to a whole bunch of troops being trained that I haven't done physically myself. Now, in order to set this up, I'm just going to stop this and show you how this kind of works. Let's go back out of this. Let's disable that. Now, this time, what I'm going to do, let's do new configuration. So that's what we're doing here. We're doing a new configuration to show you exactly how this works. So I'm going to go across to my game. This is where I am. Okay, so let's set this up from the beginning. Let's imagine I am doing this. So the first button I would want to press is train down here. So all I need to do is add this plus icon here. And then when I do that, it's then going to give me a number 1, which I can just move down over there, which you can see I've done now. What I tend to do is actually move that to the side. So that would be the first key press. So then when we do that, the next key press would also be training speed up. So I'm just going to move the number 2 button over that. Then when I do training speed up, I can see that the next thing that I'd want to go to is finish all. So I'm going to do that and move across to there. And then once I've clicked finish all, I am then back to the beginning. So those would be my 3 button presses that I need to do. And that is it. That is all I need to do. So when I now click that play button on here, it's now going to follow that routine of those 3 button presses. Again, so easy to set up. I did want to show you exactly how to set that up so you can go and do that. But train troops faster with auto clicker is also going to be a bit of a lifesaver for a few of you out there, especially if you are at the beginning of building these T1 troops and you've got a whole bunch of them to do. This is the way to do it. Okay, let's stop that. Let's get off auto clicker. Okay, so that was for auto clicker. The next thing I'm going to show you, there's a couple of places we can use the next tip, so I'm going to show you this right now. This is going to be something else that you're also going to absolutely love, and it's starting off with going to the rally spot. That's where we're going to show you the example of this first. And when we go into there and we click on the March presets, let's click into there, and you can see we've got all the different March presets at the top, and there they all are, which you can set up for your mounted marches, you can set them up for your range marches, and etc for that. Now what I'm going to show you is, let me use my number 6 March preset as an example. And one of the things that I want to show you in there first is, you may notice that I've got all this set up to 10,000. So you can see they're all 10,000 all the way down to the bottom. And the reason for that is, and this is another tip that I wanted to share, is when you are in server versus server, when you are in Battlefield and you are a solo keep, so you don't really get involved with attacks, you're not strong enough, not powerful enough. I can sort of do it, but I'm not great. I've got some okay generals, but it's not amazing. So what I tend to do when going into server versus server, or I go into Battlefield, I tend to sort of run from the opposition and try and entice the solo attack. Now when that solo attack comes, if you are then quick enough to go in there and heal 10,000 of each layer, it then gives you another hit for free from that solo person. So literally what happens is they keep hitting you over and over and over again. You go and heal the 10,000 layers, they end up then struggling because they can't get through your layers again, and you just keep repeating that process. So I have a preset set up with these 10,000 to heal very, very quickly in server versus server in Battlefield for solo hits. So that is a tip for the smaller keeps out there that are doing this thing. It's a brilliant strategy to have one of your presets set up for that. But it also brings me on to my next tip as well. Let's just say you just noticed that I've actually messed this up a bit, which is a little bit annoying. So kind of what I was having to do previously is go into those Winter Palace archers, move it down, even type in the different numbers that I needed. I needed 10,000. Let's press enter on that. Go down, look for the next one that I made a mistake on, put my 10,000 in that. But imagine if, let's just say, for argument's sake, it changed and now we needed 20,000 layers, and I'd have to go into each one of those individually to change them. I no longer have to, because all I need to do now is go into this button here, which is the crucial one, and when we go into there, we go and find the full tiers. So you can see my full tiers is actually set up at 40k. I don't want that, I want 20k. So instead of putting 20k in for absolutely everything, if we actually just hold down on this button like so, oh, hang on, let me do that again. Full tiers, hold down, and then it brings up this box. And this is the box that people aren't aware of existed. So I can now go into this, I can say, change that to 20,000 every single layer, press enter. You will now notice on that full tiers green box, that's changed to 20k. And yes, when I press it, everything is changed to 20k. How cool is that? Makes it a lot quicker, a lot easier to do. And this is definitely something that saved me a few times. And also, this is great for setting it up against different events as well. Glory Arena is one of those that we go into a lot that we need to do. Again, if I was going into this and I needed to change the troop setup for this, let's just say, again, I needed 5,000 of every layer. I'd go into this, I'd go into the full tiers. Now I'd hold down, then I'd change that to 5,000 because that's now what I need. Again, hit the enter button, changes it to 5. As soon as I click on this, changes everything to 5. So there's lots of different events where this is going to be very beneficial. Glory Arena, I know, is one because you always have to start it from the beginning. So this is definitely going to help you in setting up that. And as I said, using that rally spot for healing troops as well, also something else which I think is a massive advantage. So that is how to set up troop layers, all the different events, holding down that button. Next thing that I want to talk about is I'm not really a massive spender. I do spend from time to time, spent a lot more in the past, but I'm now sort of at that stage where I don't really bother with that anymore. But one of the things that I do is if I am going to spend money, I'm making sure that, let's just say I was spending $10, $15, £15. That was what I wanted to spend. I would be making sure that I am involved with the Sulis Wishing Pool when doing that. The Sulis Wishing Pool gives you an opportunity to win one of these rewards. You obviously get to select them, but the key thing here is for that £15 a month, if you wanted to do it, I'll do it all £15 every fortnight, however you want to do it. I literally do this now probably once every month, 2 months on rotation. I'll jump in there, I'll buy myself that monthly rally card, and so I've set this up recently. I've just bought my rally monthly card and I won 600 blood of arrows for doing that. But you also get an opportunity for winning the 7,200 box on the resources. You also get the opportunity for winning the 7,200 on the speed ups as well, and they do pop out. They pop out a lot. And just to show you an example of that, I actually recently won, not on the last attempt but the attempt before, I actually did win the boxes for the resources. So now when I go into items and we have a look at them, you can see, let's go all the way down to my main resources. You can see now that I have 8,130 in there, and the reason being is because I did that Sulis Wishing Pool and the 7.2 billion resources dropped. So again, if I'm going to spend money and you're a low spender, you're not spending much at all, don't just go and spend it without thinking about it. Make sure you're doing it when Sulis Wishing Pool is on, when that event is live. Make sure you put them in there and then go and do your spend so that you get an opportunity to win one of those rewards. Number 8, this is also another tip that I've shared previously, but again, I'm going to talk about it now, especially if you are at the beginning of your game. One of the things that Evony does, and a lot of games do it, is they will push generals on you that are useless. They will push generals on you that you're not going to use in the long term. And when I say that, if we're going to have a look at my generals now, I'm sort of mid to play low spender, but when I go in here and you have a look at my favorite generals, you're going to see that I have Queen Boudica, Marcus Agrippa, Lou Jean, which I've got from the Trial of Knights event, and I also have Napoleon Prime. My siege is only 3-star. Don't really use him that often. He's not really beneficial to me to be joining in attacks, but those are my generals, and those are the generals that are not pushed to you early game, and that is where I would be going in terms of your generals. We go there, we ascend them, that's what to do. But what you want to do with your general tokens, which come up every so often, and we get them from different events, we get them from the little boxes that we now get on Expedition. There's always these general fragments going around left, right and center, but it's the long term, it's a long game tip. But that long game tip is, don't spend those general tokens when you've only got 3 or 4. Don't do it, and I'll show you the reason why. So yeah, when I'm talking about these general tokens, I can't show you the example at the moment, but what I can do is go into the newest general as an example, because I know we've had a new one recently. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go into recruits, portraits, and if I'm not mistaken, he was from Japan and he was a siege machine. So this Kiso Yoshinaka, when the event is on, this person will be absolutely through the roof in percentage chances of being able to get that general. So when this weekend is over, we will probably get another opportunity where we can win another general. So every couple of weeks they bring out a brand new general that you can go for, and the percentage chances of getting this general is obviously very, very big compared to other times. Now if I go into my items, I'm just going to show you here now and scroll down, you will actually see that I have 3 of the Epic Historic General, 6 of the Epic Historic General Glory, and also 95 of the Premium. Now you'll notice actually on the Epic Historic General Glory, there's no option to use to see percentages, and that's because it will be used as an event specific. So I'm saving those. So you can see I've got 101, 104 different tokens. Now if I go into this one, the one that I've got 3 of, and I click into here, click into detail chances, you can see Kiso is at the top with 9.22%, but all the other ones all the way down are only 0.46%. You can appreciate Kiso is going to come out a lot more than the others. Now if we come off this and then go into the normal one, the Epic Historic General Premium, which does come up quite often, and we click on detail on there, go and click in chance details, again look at the percentage chance, it's 16.53%. again, it's much bigger than the other generals, and actually if you are at the beginning of the game, you won't even see these percentages because because of the terrible generals that they push on you at the beginning. So the tip here is save all those general tokens so that you can use them all in one go when a specific general you are after has been released in the game. I'm actually waiting and chasing a new wall general. I think it's time for Queen Boudica to go, especially as I'm a solo account, especially as I'm chasing the solo hits. I'm sort of saving that and waiting for a decent option to use on the wall so that I can replace her. And this one's always open for debate, but they say between 70 to 120. There's a magic number in there somewhere. If you've got around that many different premium tokens, that the chances of you getting enough copies to ascend to 5-star, you're going to be unlucky if it doesn't happen. I've heard some people have managed to ascend a general all the way to 5-star with 70 tokens. I've heard some have been unlucky and it's taken 120. Now, my personal opinion in this, and granted, it takes a long time to do this, but in my personal opinion, I'm going to wait until I have got the 120. And the reason I'm going to do that is because if I was lucky and got it in 70, I'm already 50 ahead for the next one. So that's my theory in what I'm doing. I'm going to be patient. And remember, once you do choose that general, whether you're going after an archer general, whether you're going after a siege general, whether you're going after a wall general, especially the wall general, this is going to be good for a long time. It's been, I think the last decent general that was released that we could get via this method was Isaac Brock. That was a long time ago. I do have Isaac Brock as an assistant. I didn't have the tokens at the time to get him, but that is where I see the tokens being used best, is on the wall general. And as soon as that person comes out, and remember, it doesn't have to be a specific wall general, just needs to be a general where army to attack is not there, then this is going to be a great option for me to do. So that is exactly what I'm doing. If you are chasing after an arch general, save them up, save 70 plus. You may be unlucky. I personally recommend saving 120, but again, that is what you need to do with those general tokens. You don't need to open them every single week. Yes, I get there are generals that are needed for the general haul, but again, would you prefer winning an epic historic general premium, or would you prefer the opportunity to get your brand new general ascension 5-star? That's more important to me. So yes, of course, I do want to fill these in, and I'm sort of doing that as I go along. But again, believe when I'm opening 70 plus general tokens, I'd like to think that the odd one or two will be to fill these up. So that is personally what I see there. Spent a little bit of time on that, but I do think it's really important. Hold back on those general tokens. The last tip that I want to share with you is about the Alliance boss chest. Now, I'm just going to go into the event center. Going to go down here. We've got the Alliance boss there. You can see it ends in 22 hours. Let's go back into there, and then when I go onto that Alliance boss chest, the one thing that I want to talk about here is the rewards that you can get from redeem. So I save all mine up, and I'll show you the reason why. Is because of this particular box here. So you can see I've got 900. I only use them when I have 3,300 to purchase one of these boxes, and it's because it's one of the rare civilization equipments that you can get. So don't spend the Alliance boss chest money until you have that. Don't buy any of these. Pointless. It's so rare to get hold of these items that I would rather wait the months that it takes to get the 3,300 and do that. And I'll show you what has happened since. Again, go to my generals. Let's go to Queen Boudica this time. And when we look at Queen Boudica, you will notice that I actually have 5 out of the 6. That's the only one I don't have, the dominant Parthian armor. All the others are choreo, and the reason being is because 2 of the rare choreos, obviously you can get the ones which are quite easy to obtain. Well, fairly easy. It still takes a long time. But the rare ones that you normally need to spend money on, I've actually got 2 of those choreo from that Alliance boss chest. So that is why I would never spend it on anything else other than those 3,300 for the Civilization 30 fragments to win a new piece of kit. Yes, you may be unlucky. You may get a piece that you've already got. I understand that. And I have had extreme luck that I think I've had 3 or 4 of these particular ones. And of those 3 or 4, 2 of them just happened to be choreo that I didn't have before. That is genuinely very, very lucky. But it's just making you aware that you can do that. Just want to see what that was. Okay, I can upgrade. I save so many of these things. I've probably got loads of. I'm a hoarder, genuinely. I save everything, and that is probably why I'm able to use these tips a lot easier than other people. So yeah, again, the Alliance boss chest, 3,300, save them up. get that civilization piece of rare equipment. And that is pretty much where I'm going to leave this particular video. I know it's quite a long one, but it's just one that I'm hoping that if you've watched to the end, you'll have some awesome little tips, especially if you are new to the game, that can help you going forward. So I will leave it there. Please do also shout out in the comments if there's anything else, any other tips that you think could also be useful to the Evony community. And I will look forward to seeing you in another video very, very soon. Thanks for watching.